So my name's Samuel Dunn. Football, I'm the starting quarterback. Basketball, point guard. Baseball, middle infielder, shortstop, second base, but I also pitch because just a natural throwing motion.
It starts with the mindset. Man, this kid just came in. I mean, he wants it. He's pushing that envelope to get what he want to get. If you're a baller, you're a baller. So when I see a guy like Sammy, he got that dog. He got that mama mentality to go out there and be a savage, being the best version of himself. You know, he just an assassin.
So my name's Samuel Dunn. I'm originally from Mobile, lived there for pretty much my whole life. We moved over to Daphne, and I go to Bayside Academy now, ninth grade, 15 years old. I play football, basketball, baseball. Football, I'm the starting quarterback. Basketball, point guard, and baseball, middle infielder, shortstop, second base. But I also pitch because just a natural throwing motion. My first interest in sports came when I was obviously very young. My dad put me into soccer just to work on footwork, and then it just became a love for all type of sports, just became a love for being around games, just playing and competing, and so it went on from there.
He loves sports. He's a student athlete. My husband and I, when he was young, we wanted to see what his gifts were. So we just kind of took it upon ourselves to explore the different platforms, the sports, the arts, and we tried him as early as 3 years old as a soccer player to work on his footwork. We started with football, baseball. He became quarterback at the young age of 4, playing football. He was an all-star baseball player as early as 6 years old. So we were trying to find what he kind of leaned toward, but he seemed to be excelling in all of them. So from the age of 3, we've been traveling, playing baseball, football, basketball year-round.
Going into the career of Samuel Dunn right now as his father, it's a journey. But the main idea is to make sure that he's walking in what he's supposed to be walking in his purpose, walking in his call. So with that being said, there's many talents and gifts that he has, and my job and my wife's job is to make sure that he explores those talents, expound upon those talents, multiply those talents, and give those talents to the world. Right now, one of the talents that he has, that he enjoys, is playing sports.
Competing in sports, it's a way of life. It's a way you do life. You compete in life. You can't let any adversity just tear you down. You have to keep going. And sports is a good way to teach that and to learn, because it's not always going to go your way, especially in baseball. Baseball is one of the toughest sports. I'm actually in baseball season right now. But baseball, when you go up to the plate, you're not always going to get a hit. When you're on the mound, you're not always going to have your best stuff, but that's the same as life. Well, you got to keep pushing. On the baseball field, I play middle infield, play shortstop, second, but I also pitch. Pitching came natural for me. Playing quarterback and pitching, they have similar throwing motions, so pitching, shortstop, second, those are my favorite spots to play on the baseball field. I just feel like those are the important spots of the field, because pitching, nothing can happen without a pitch being thrown. So shortstop, second base, they make a lot of the plays in the infield, getting the guys out. So baseball is a really fun sport, especially when you play those positions. I balance school by making sure I have a good relationship with all my teachers, making sure that I'm talking to them as well as talking to my coaches, make sure I'm maintaining a good balance, knowing when I have practice, knowing when I have tests, knowing when I have assignments coming up, just making sure I stay on schedule. Me being a freshman playing varsity against these older athletes, that's just the competitive nature about myself. I mean, I love competing, so it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you line up on the field, I'm just wanting to compete. Win or lose, it's gonna be fun. And I don't feel like there's too big of a challenge for me. We played some big opponents this year, I would say, and all you can do is give your best. Playing in these games as a freshman, it's obviously not gonna be easy, but what you have to know is that you put the work in to be good at the sport. You put the work in to gain the position, gain the trust of your teammates and coaches. And so that's all you can do when you go out there, win or lose. That's all you can do is go compete. And so there's nothing really to be scared about. I mean, first games, I had my jitters. But as the season goes on, you just know that you've worked hard enough, you competed, when you go out to the field, it's nothing but left to do but compete.
Deep in our pockets and deep in our hearts, we have explored all these different parts of the southeastern United States. We learn a lot about our child, how he has endured adversity as an athlete, how he's excelled in the classroom, and he's been an inspiration for me because as I see the things that he goes into and explores and does it with such confidence, it builds the confidence in me because as I was as a young child, I didn't have the confidence as he has, so he has been an inspiration for me.
Being a coach and an educator pretty much most of my life, having a son, understanding what it takes to be an elite athlete, elite student or scholar athlete, it was very important that we got him involved and mixed him and matched him with different sports to try to figure out which sport was going to be the one that's going to be his dominant gift. So at an early age, we got him involved with everything that came around. At 3 years old, he started playing soccer. Then he went from soccer to baseball, and from baseball to basketball, and then from basketball to football. So we understanding that if you're going to be involved with sports, you want to start them as early as possible so you can kind of observe and identify which one he's going to excel in. Well, I guess it's a great thing. He excelled in all of them, which is kind of tough for us, which keeps us moving around all the time because there wasn't one that he didn't after training and being involved for a while. There wasn't one that he didn't excel in. So even till now, at 15 years old, he's still a multi-sport athlete. He's still involved in football, baseball, and basketball. And he did some wrestling also. So he's the type of kid that we found out that whatever it is that he gets involved in, and he focuses on and puts some attention into, he excels at it.
My favorite position on the football field is definitely quarterback. Quarterback just makes me feel like I'm in control of the outcome of the game, just feel like I'm in control of what's going to happen. It's just a fun spot to be in, a great leadership spot, and it teaches great character, so it's my favorite spot. The qualities of a great quarterback definitely would have to be the leadership qualities, as well as just being charismatic, but being a great leader at the same time. Being able to guide your team, get the respect of your teammates, the respect of your coaches, so when the game is on the line, they'll be able to look to you and know that you'll be the one that comes through. And that starts in practice. It doesn't just start in the game. It starts at practice, film room. It starts outside of football. It starts in the classroom, just being a good student, being a good role model to younger kids, being the one that they all have respect for. So when it's time to go, then they can look to you. The way to bring together a team, just to win over your team, because as a freshman, there are obviously people older than me. They're seniors, juniors, everybody. So they don't necessarily have to respect you. But a way to gain that respect is to always be around, always just be in their ear, always show up for them. So when I came to play quarterback, they obviously didn't have any faith in me first off, but after I showed in practice that I could make the throws, that I cared about them, that I cared about what their jobs were on the field, then they started to gain that trust. But ultimately, the respect and trust comes from when the game's on the line. So when the game's on the line, be able to produce, be able to make sure we come out with the victory. And like I said, it's not going to happen first jump right off the bat. But if you're staying around, staying charismatic, just making sure you're always around with those guys, then they'll start to respect you more and more. Hostile environments, it gets tough sometimes because sometimes you'll go into the places where they do know you. And once your name gets bigger, then people have more of an opinion on you. People want to get in your head to see if they can throw you off your game. But that's when it just comes down to being tough, knowing what you can do, knowing that you put in the work to get it done, and don't worry about what anybody else says. And it's the fun part, because once you hear them talking, that's when you know you're doing something good. So my family is a big part of my success on the field, because the academic training that I go through, athletic training that I go to, they're a big part of that. They've put me through all of those things. They've pushed me to be who I am today. And I appreciate them because I wouldn't be here without them. So all the thanks goes to them, that they've pretty much made me. As you get older, there are going to be a lot of people who see your success and aren't going to be clapping you on. They're not going to be giving you a round of applause. They're going to be praying that something happens, praying on your downfall, basically. So keep your circle tight, but keep your parents, mentors tight in that circle, because those are the ones that are going to fight for you and battle for you all the way through the ups and downs. That's what my parents have done for me. That's what I'd like to say I was grateful for, because my parents are the ones that have put me in this position, gave me all the opportunities, my training, academic training, all types of things. So those are the ones that are really for you. People that you think are your friends, you're gonna see once you get older, you're gonna see them kind of fall off, them kind of worry about what they're gonna do. So I'd say keep your mentors, your parents and stuff tight.
There are a lot of benefits of being a student athlete, but of course, when you are on that platform, there are people that are trying to approach you on that platform as well. We are constantly with our son, my husband and I, to protect him. We have had to protect him from other children his age because of not adversity, but of maybe just jealousy, because they're seeing him excel and they're trying to pull and get into his mindset. It's sad sometimes you will come across some adults that are trying to get in his head, and we have to make sure we continue to build him up, build up his character, let him know who he is, not just as an athlete, but as a person, a young black man, as a child of God. We also have to make sure that he knows the right things to say as he represents himself, because there are people that will approach him for their own benefit. And we have taught him that, you speak for yourself, but you also relay adults with those type of questions to your parents, because your parents are the ones that are going to represent you. You have to be aware of the predators that are out there that would try to make a means off your child.
So when I'm not playing football, I'm normally asleep, not really doing much else. When I'm not playing sports, I'd say, because it's not just football, it's baseball, basketball, working out. But when I'm not doing those things, I'm normally just sleep. I'm kind of a laid back, chill guy. So my plans for the future are to go on to play Division I football, hoping I can get a scholarship for that, and as well as work on my major so I can become an entrepreneur, and I'm starting my own business as well. My company is called Start Living Dreams. The acronym SLD comes from my initials, Samuel Dunn. Start Living Dreams, it's just a motto that I went with starting my first year at quarterback as a freshman. It's like a dream come true, basically. And what I'm saying is, with Start Living Dreams, is don't be afraid to go after what you want. It takes determination, obviously hard work. Nothing's impossible. So whatever you dream of, you can do it. So start living the dreams out.
Not only do we want our son to be great at school and be great in whatever sport he chooses, but we want him to expound upon every gift that he has. And right now he has platforms because he's playing these sports, because he's who he is. God's given him platforms. So while he's giving him that platform, we want to know what was inside of him. What is it that he wants to relay to his friends and to the world? He came up with Start Living Dreams, called SLD for short, which is his initials abbreviated, Samuel Dunn. But he says Start Living Dreams because he wants people of every age, race, culture to find what it is that they love and just start doing it. And that's an entrepreneur side that we want to make sure that he expounded upon. God allows us to be unlimited and to multiply. So we want to make sure that Samuel understands that he's not just an athlete, he's not just a student. He's created for way more. He's created to touch the world and leave his mark on the world. The gifts that God gives him is not for him, it's for him to share. And so Start Living Dreams is an opportunity for him to start sharing the gift that God gave him. I would advise parents to do everything possible to keep their kids involved in some extracurricular activity. We've just chosen sports and he's gravitated toward that. It's been challenging, but we believe that the benefits far outweigh the cost. He's a gift from God, so it's our job to steward that gift. So what we did was we used great people, great coaches around. We always place them around great people. people with high character, people that not only with high character, but people were going to challenge him.
Torrin McGaster, former collegiate athlete at Vanderbilt University, graduated from Daphne High School and played corner at Daphne, and went on to continue my career at Vanderbilt University to be a 3-year starter at Vanderbilt and to go on to the professional level to get picked up by the Cincinnati Bengals. And came back home and started my career as far as helping young athletes. My company, Primarily Development, just helping young athletes on the field and off the field, just help them to being the best version of themselves. As far as Sammy, I seen some tools. I mean, I knew he was something special. As far as wanting to be one of the top QBs around the country, not just the state of Alabama, but around the country. He kind of put me in the mind of Deshaun Watson, just the way he's built, the way he throws the ball, and just seeing the way he carries himself, not just on the field, but off the field as well. He's a blue-collar kid. When he walk into the room, you know Sammy Dunn's in that room. He wants it, but not just around me. We always put the work in outside, just at home, with him sending me videos of working the mechanics that he need to work, him lifting on his own, doing small band work, and so on and so forth, to help him reach that level.
Training outside of practice, that's the way to go. That's 100% going to make you better. And it's made me better because I know what I need to work on, and sometimes at practice, you don't work on those things. You work on team-related things. And I feel like what makes you really much better is working on self-related things, even though it's a team sport. But if everybody's doing their job the best they can, then the team is better. So working individually and working outside of practice is what's going to make you better as a player and ultimately make your team better.
Man, this kid just came in. I mean, he wants it. You know, he's pushing that envelope to get what he want to get. I mean, you hear people all around the country telling him, like, this guy's small, this guy's this guy's that. But at the end of the day, if you're a baller, you're a baller. They try to do it with Bryce Young. He's 5'10", this and this and this. But when you go out there and you see that kid perform at the highs of the highs, because it doesn't get no better than the SEC. So when I see a guy like Sammy, I mean, he got that dog. He got that mama mentality to go out there and be a savage and being the best version of himself. He just an assassin. He's gonna light the world up as far as being the best QB in the state of Alabama, but not just the state of Alabama, but within the country. You know, I feel like he's not gonna go unnoticed. I feel like the world's gonna know him very, very soon because of the amount of work that we are putting in.
For real. On my wrist, for real.
Nothing's impossible, so whatever you dream of, you know you can do it, so start living the dreams out.